Have you ever bought a G-Shock that's given you this as well? Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Man Watch Collector Show. Today, we're going to show you a pretty crazy G-Shock. Now, I'm a lover of G-Shocks, particularly the older ones, the ones that set the tone for the rest of the decade. Favourite being in the G-Shock Square, which I now have, I think, about 8 or 9 of now. And when I found out a reissue has been made of an old one, I snap at it like a G-Shock hungry crocodile. This watch completely passed me by. The reissue came out in 2023, but the original watch came out in 1994 and was nicknamed the Jason. Now, this reissue has done a phenomenal job of keeping the same looks, but adding a bit more fun to it. And have you ever bought a G-Shock that came with a tool like this? Me neither! This watch was on Amazon for around £140. However, I think this is an absolute stunner and a must for any G-Shock collector out there that wants something a bit different. So let's show you the watch, give my opinions on it, tell you what my wife thought about it as well, and let's have some G-Shock fun. Are you G-Shock ready? Let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the G-B001 MVB-8ER. Yeah! Now, this watch was nicknamed back in the 90s the Jason because it is very reminiscent of a hockey mask that was worn by the naughty man in Friday the 13th. And people, this looks just like nothing I own. And I own a few G-Shocks now. Back in 1994, Casio came up with a G-Shock that had a capsule tough design. So plastic resin on the inside and a urethane rubber on the outside. Now, the outside case to that 94 G-Shock could not be taken off, but this one you can. And that is what your little tool is for. Just by slipping it into the hole, and look at that. Off he comes and reveals this baby. You've got a gold ion plated stainless steel shell. I honestly don't know what I like best. Certainly the shroud over it makes it less blingy, and trust me, I won't be showing the wife it without the shroud, but I think it's absolutely cool. Now, yes, with this reference, and I don't think they're making many more, you do have the negative display. Personally, I would have loved the positive display, the normal display, but like my DWD 5500, it's the only reference that was available at the time. Now, back in the day in 94, this watch had a thermometer sensor, which was underneath where the holes are on the outside case. Casio have simplified this G-Shock. You don't get a thermometer on this. Now, going along the theme of this is a G-Shock unlike any other, the buttons, there are 4, 2 either side of the case, they are so easy to push in. It has to be the easiest G-Shock to operate apart from the GBD 200s I've ever used. So if you're looking for a G-Shock that doesn't have tough recessed pushers, this one's your guy. And the unique theme continues, people, because I have never seen a G-Shock strap quite like this one. One thing I'm not sure is going to be amazingly comfortable is the little wing flaps underneath the case. I've seen them on many G-Shocks in the past. These don't hug against the strap, so I'll be interested to see how this feels on the wrist. But we have a big rubber resin shroud that goes over the back of this watch, so it is completely urethane covered, and I must admit I do like that G stencil. All in all, the watch weighs about 75 grams, which is pretty good considering we got this outer shell and the stainless steel cover. This watch utilizes the carbon core guard system, which most G-Shocks are made with these days. It's not about rubber protecting modules, but tough carbon woven plastic. This to me though still feels like one of the old days because it's quite chunky.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you. Onto
the screens, we have 3 windows. The traditional telling time part. The top 2 windows, as far as I can see, are just animations. Now, I'm all for animations, especially on Casios, but they don't particularly do a practical job. Maybe they did on the 94 version, but as it was the 90s, I doubt it. Anyway, the features on this watch are pretty useful. We get a world time with, I think, the choice of 300 cities. We have a 100th of a second stopwatch, a countdown timer with 5 alarms. One thing I get a lot in the comments below is the configuration of the day and date. Well, you can change that to either date day or day date. And one thing you don't see a lot is you can change the language. Don't see that on many of these. The backlight is a bright icy white blue LED from the left corner. Does a really good job, to be fair. And you can keep that on for 1 or 3 seconds. The battery's going to last you about 3 years, depending on how much you use the backlight. The overall operating of this watch is phenomenal.
Hello.
On my 6.5-inch wrist, and you know, it doesn't look too bad. The only thing I do question is the comfortability of those inside flaps during the working day. Is it going to nail into my wrist? Is it going to leave a horrible mark? But I must say, it does look pretty cool. I probably, at a pinch, prefer it with the shroud over top. Although if I want a little bit of a bling during the day, well, I've got 2 watches in one, haven't I? So there we go, the GB001 Jason. What do you think? As the years go on, I feel less connected to new G-Shock designs because they all kind of look the same. You know, big screens, big displays. The designs were more out there back then, weren't they?
Pushing the boundaries.
But this is an absolute awesome find. I'm so glad I've got one because I don't know how much longer these are going to be around for. I don't think they were marketed particularly well. But as I said, I love G-Shocks that reissue old ones. The first one being 32 years old. This is a banging G-Shock, and get it while you still can. So here it is, my wife's views on the B001. Oh, this is ugly. Way too much rubber for one watch. Please tell me you haven't bought it. Looks like a 1990s robot I had as a kid, and that didn't stay in the house for long. I like you. Just remember, I like you. Yes, Casio Corner is back, and we've got to say a big thank you to my cheap wrist. And let me tell you, sir, there is nothing cheap. Oh my God. That's the B001 going off. There is nothing cheap about this shot whatsoever. This is my favourite Casio of all time, worn on the wrist of Marty McFly in Back to the Future 2, the CA53W. How many other film watch icons can you buy for around £30, eh? It's a great shot, my friend, and thanks for tagging me in. If you'd like to be on the next Casio Corner, all you gotta do, find me on Instagram, here, and tag me in on one of your Casio posts. Because who knows, next time, the star of the show could be you. Yes, thank you so much for watching till the end. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector, click there and join. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, and I know you have, I have, what? Click this one. This is amazing. This is Casio. Look at him. Look at the Jason. Look at the Jason a shining. Looks good, doesn't he? Go on, click this one. Come on. We all know you're a Casio-aholic. Click it. Click. Click, click it!